Part 1. The Men Who Didn't Exist. They had offices with nameplates, business cards, even fan magazines. And yet, officially, they were criminals. In the back streets of post-war Japan, when cities still smelled of ash and reconstruction, men in dark suits quietly rebuilt an empire that had existed for centuries. They called it loyalty. The police called it organized crime. The world came to know them as the Yakuza. Their origins stretch back to the 17th century during the Edo period. Two marginalized groups formed the roots of what would become modern syndicates. The first were tekaya, itinerant street peddlers who organized themselves to control markets and protect territory. The second were bakuto, gamblers who ran underground games across the country. The word Yakuza itself comes from a losing hand in a traditional card game, 893. In Japanese pronunciation, Yakuza, a useless combination, worth nothing. But the men who adopted that name would prove anything but useless. From the beginning, structure was everything. The Yakuza operated under a strict hierarchy known as Oyabun Kobun, father and children. The boss, or Oyabun, commanded absolute loyalty. In return, he offered protection, money, and belonging. It wasn't just a gang, it was a surrogate family. And family in Japan means everything. If you're fascinated by hidden histories and stories the world rarely tells, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next one. Part 2. Ink, Blood, and Silence. By the early 20th century, the Yakuza were no longer scattered groups. They had become national syndicates. The most powerful of them all would emerge in 1915 in Kobe, Yamaguchi-gumi. At its peak, Yamaguchi-gumi controlled tens of thousands of members. Construction, ports, entertainment districts, finance. Their reach extended into both the shadows and the daylight of Japanese society. After World War II, chaos became opportunity. Black markets flourished. Food, medicine, and basic goods were scarce. The Yakuza stepped in, organizing distribution, controlling labor, and offering protection to struggling businesses. In the ruins of a defeated nation, they built power. But power in the Yakuza came with a price. Full-body tattoos, irizumi, marked commitment. Dragons, koi fish, samurai warriors. Each symbol told a story of endurance and loyalty. The ink covered backs, arms, legs, often leaving only the center of the chest bare, hidden beneath a shirt. In modern Japan, such tattoos are still associated with organized crime, and many public bathhouses ban anyone who has them. And then there was yubitsumi, a ritual of apology. If a member made a serious mistake, he could atone by cutting off part of his little finger. Historically, this weakened his grip on a sword, making him more dependent on his boss for protection. It was pain transformed into obedience. This was not cinematic fiction. It was discipline, tradition, control. Part 3. The Gray Zone. For decades, the Yakuza operated in a strange legal twilight. Unlike many criminal organizations around the world, they were not immediately outlawed. Their offices displayed official signage. Some leaders gave interviews. They published internal magazines. They attended public events. The Japanese government referred to them as Boryokudan, violent groups. But until the early 1990s, membership itself was not automatically illegal. That changed in 1992 with the Anti-Boryokudan Law, which allowed authorities to restrict their activities, freeze assets, and pressure businesses to cut ties. Suddenly, bank accounts were closed, rental contracts denied, insurance canceled. The invisible family began to shrink. By the 21st century, membership numbers had fallen dramatically. Japan's National Police Agency reported that the number of registered Yakuza members dropped to a fraction of what it had been during the 1960s peak. Young people no longer saw the syndicates as a path to status or stability. Increased surveillance and social stigma made the lifestyle less attractive and far more dangerous. Yet disappearance is not the same as extinction. Modern Yakuza have adapted, less visible, more financial. Cyber fraud, investment schemes, corporate extortion. The swords are gone, but influence remains. And here's the paradox. Despite their violence, some Yakuza groups have publicly provided disaster relief during earthquakes and crises, delivering supplies faster than official agencies. Acts like these complicate the narrative. Criminal syndicates acting as community responders. Heroes, villains, or something far more complex. If you want more deep dives into real criminal histories told without myths and exaggeration, subscribe now so you don't miss the next story. Part 4. Myth versus reality. Cinema has romanticized them. Films, manga, and video games portray codes of honor and noble outlaws. But reality is colder. Extortion, human trafficking, financial manipulation, intimidation, broken families. The Yakuza are not relics of the samurai age. They are organized crime groups that evolved alongside modern Japan. Their story mirrors the country's transformation, from feudal isolation to global economic power, from street gamblers in the Edo period to suited executives navigating corporate boardrooms. They began as a losing hand, but for centuries, they played the game better than anyone else. And the question remains, in a society built on order and harmony, how did such an organization survive for so long in plain sight? That is the true mystery of the Yakuza.